Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Italy number 18 in Hearts of Iron 3. We left off having a bit of issue getting the AI to use all of our industrial power, but mainly invading Germany. And where we're going in the invasion of Germany, we're attacking France with just tons of infantry, no armor. Everywhere else in the line we have mainly mechanized and armored units. You'll notice we're just encircling a bunch of German units in the east. We don't really care if they're left behind us because we're just going to charge straight for their capital, all their victory points, and hopefully just overthrow them. And we have some infantry in the background to just keep harassing them. Hungary has fallen, so we have all of our troops behind the lines, and we're just charging them all forward. We do focus a bit more on production and just generally send our forces up. We had been invading into kind of Bavaria and Austria, so we're rushing up from those areas just all across southern Germany, from Switzerland and everywhere. And we're just hitting Germany on every single front we possibly can, simply because we're able to. The Soviet War was a terrible, brutal slog, but that's mainly because we didn't have any good supply throughput, and the fact that the Soviets had some amazing Doom army that very nearly doomed us and the Germans. The Germans, meanwhile, had been fighting the Soviets for around 4 to 5 years by the time we actually stepped in, so their army is a ruined shambles of its former self, which naturally means that we're just going to overwhelm them with our army that has only fought one significant and incredibly victorious major war. There are some areas where German resistance is a bit too much for us, and we are pulling back from those fights. Everywhere else, though, we're winning and just gunning it into them. And if we win 75% of fights and have to stop on 25%, we're still pushing the line forward deeper into Germany 3 out of 4 times. And a lot of areas we're not even fighting because there just aren't any German forces to defend. Like all throughout France, we can just charge up. Admittedly not very quickly because it's all infantry, but we can just charge up. We have fully encircled that group of German soldiers, so they're just going to peter out and die eventually. We are charging up into Austria, and just throughout, just everywhere in their country. We're mainly going to be looking at the victory point map modes, or at least we should be. I probably won't. But we really do need to look at these because that's the most important thing. We're sending all of these armored thrusts just deep into Germany. Eventually we're going to have to piece together where exactly they're going. It doesn't matter all that much right now because we're really just driving into the entry area. We got the Polish corridor, which is kind of fun. We're Italy with the Polish corridor. Although I guess at this point we're far more than Italy. And our forces are just continuing to gun it through. We have a pocket in East Prussia that we're actually fighting. Everywhere else we're just kind of gunning it forward. We've annexed Slovakia, so they're now just a non-entity. We're also going to create more convoys and escorts for our eventual invasion of the United States, which will probably be at least planned and maybe a few precursory steps taken. I realized we hadn't bothered to fight the Finns, so we're going to just go ahead and attack them now. They'd also been fighting the Soviets for years, so their resistance is probably going to be more or less a moot point. And our forces are just going through everywhere, just making major victories throughout, hurting the Germans as much as they possibly can. We do build another rocket test site because I accidentally put the other one in Hungary, which is occupied territory, not our actual territory. A distinction that kind of just knocks us down 15 IC for 138 days, which I memorized because I was kind of upset at myself. Anyway, our forces are just gunning it, doing a lot of damage. You'll notice one of our groups is encircled, but we'll probably get them out, and they're just an infantry group anyway, which takes something like a month and a half to build. And we're really not going to be using all of our infantry past this war, just to suppress rebels and hold on to our coastline. Because when we do actually invade the United States, it's going to be almost entirely a mechanized or armored offensive. You'll notice our armored forces are just going very well throughout. We're now digging deep into the heartland of actual Germany. We are getting closer to their victory points. All these victory points will just fall to us. There are some Spanish rebels we'll have to deal with. Ultimately, though, I'm not even really bothering with the minutia of this war, or even some major points. You'll notice a lot of the fronts, and there are just thousands of fronts now, as the lines just disintegrate and German resistance collapses everywhere. We're just carving lines from victory point to victory point, encircling what German units we can, and generally just making a beeline to their important centers of industry and centers of their state. There's really not much they can do about it, and we're taking full advantage of that. They do have the occasional mountain division that puts a dent in our progress, and we are getting bogged down fighting a few of them. Everywhere else, though, even if they do encircle us, we just turn around, fight them, and then make our way out of it. We did manage to just seize Berlin, so there we go. Just like that, the capital of the Nazi Reich has fallen, without even so much as a fight, I believe. So yeah, Germany has seen some better days at this point. Still, no one has launched any nukes. They can't do anything with nukes, seeing as we took their nuclear reactors because they were dumb enough to build them near our border. So sorry, Germany, but you're not actually that clever. And yeah, we're just gunning it into their countryside. There are a few areas where German soldiers are kind of just left to their own devices, and they're going to just be a problem wherever that is. Everywhere else, though, we're, for one, going to move to the new Nazi capital of Paris, Germany. And Japan is halfway conquered by the United States, so hopefully we'll defeat Germany quicker than the United States can defeat Japan. And then when we get to the planning stages of our war against the United States, if we can take Panama while their navy is still distracted in Asia, we're going to have a major boon to our forces and our ability to actually land on the United States. So that's going to be the major objective, is to just defeat Germany as soon as we possibly can, clean up control over all of the European Axis members, and once we're all done with that, just see what we can get and what we can do. We are gunning it towards their final victory points now. I'm not sure exactly how much it will take to force their surrender, but we're going to see how much we can get, and hopefully there's an overlap between those 2 points. Meanwhile, we do have to deal with some enemy armies attempting to encircle us. It doesn't really matter all that much. They're all cut off from their supply lines. Paris, Germany, is now cut off from everywhere, and I believe we just seized it or are in the process of. Other victory points we're surrounding and attacking, gunning forward wherever else we can, and hopefully going to just destroy the remaining enemy forces. We also apparently lost some victory points in the south, but we'll just take those back because all of our infantry is there and several armored units are in the neighborhood. We begin attacking into that Allied controlled area where just all these Belgian militia units have risen up, and we'll probably just put a quick stop to that. There is a new German capital which we moved to take, and we got peace. Apparently Slovakia has become a puppet of ours now, which is not what I wanted. And we just lazily order our units to move towards Belgium, Netherlands, where there's a problem. We build a whole new navy because we're going to need an entirely new navy if we're going to invade the United States. We already have 3 full navy groups and 1 partial. We begin giving more specific orders in Belgium, Netherlands to just clean that all up. And we attack Finland to take their capital and other main points. We go ahead and just drop on Vichy, France, in order to take all of their key victory points and hopefully just force their surrender. That's 2, still no surrender. We'll go take their capital. Meanwhile, we only have 1 victory point left in Finland, and they'll be surrendering. They aren't really putting up much of a fight, so that doesn't really matter all that much to us. We go ahead and just kind of keep driving forward. We take the Vichy French capital. They still have not surrendered, but they have a new capital further down in Africa, so we'll take that next. All of these forces in Belgium, Netherlands have made it to where we've lazily sent them. Our forces in Finland are charging up. Really, all of these battles, Finland is just now conquered, so that's nice. All of these battles are really just the final touching up. Europe will be ours pretty much in its entirety in just a moment. Vichy France has fallen, so we now control the whole Mediterranean directly. United Kingdom still exists in Africa. Canada apparently has a single province in North Africa. That's just kind of going to be a problem for a while. All these units can now just start digging into the militias around them, and will give a large control group order. America has a lot of men in in Norway. I'm probably just going to ignore all those men and go straight after the United States, mainly because we don't have very much time. At any rate, thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with more.